What's going on, Patreon? All right, so today we're going to kind of address a conversation that I witnessed. I did not participate much in, but it was on my YouTube channel, and it was in reference to a video I made talking about SHTF guns and gear. And one or two viewers kind of ran with it and were really focused on the term patrolling, where I talk about patrolling and that you could handle, a shotgun to a guy and be like, you're on the next patrol going that way. And they were talking about that you wouldn't really want to patrol. And if for some reason, whoever this conversation was involving is on here on Patreon, it's not at all that I am bashing you. I think it's good food for thought and I wanted to discuss it. So thank you for being part of it if you're on here. But they brought up the concept of you don't really want to patrol because you could encounter another group doing the same thing. Then you pick a fight, and then you might have, bloodshed you don't want in an SHTF collapse scenario. All right. Not that it is the same, but for a living, I patrol an area of control, okay? And I am assigned a designated sector. We call them districts, but it's a section of the city that I work in a specific quadrant of the city that I work. Now, yes, I can go wherever in the city that I need to go if it is, warranted to do so. But for the most part, you don't want to leave your area of control by too much, because next thing you know, you've got somebody dying in your area of control and you're nowhere near it, right? So you space out all these officer resources that you have. You don't want them all at like a forward operating base or a headquarters, right? So you don't want them at a precinct all the time or a headquarters just waiting to get a call and then go. Okay, now the fire department can do that. They do that. They have, I'm guessing here, but let's say they have 20 fire and EMS stations throughout my city. I think it's less. I think it's like 12, but let's say that they have that many scattered throughout the city. Okay, well, they are not a patrolling style response. They are we got a call for a specific medical emergency and we go at that moment. Or we got a fire call, we go at that moment. It is not trying to restrict, or I guess contain is going to be a better word. It's not trying to contain evil or wickedness or criminal activity or whatever term you want to put on it. That's not fire and EMS's job. That is what the thin blue line is about, is that thin barrier keeping society together, separating, the wicked from the weak, right? That's what the hope is. Well, there's not that many of us. I've talked about that on YouTube before. There are not many officers statistically. There's approximately 1 million of us across the country, which makes us less than 1% of the population. And then approximately 5% of the population behaves in criminal activity. So we're outnumbered, right? How do we counter that? A couple things. One, we do not have the numbers to be everywhere at once, so we patrol. We have to go and scatter the few of us in a large area and say, go and patrol this area. Look for things out of place, look for suspicious activity, and then when something comes up, we will be called and we will be sent to a specific location. But otherwise, we are patrol officers, okay? While on patrol, if I need backup while on patrol, if I need additional resources to come and assist me with whatever I have, however minor or serious, then I will call for them while I'm on patrol. We do not stay at a headquarters all the time, because if you do that, you do not have any form of control. You only are in control of that building. And that brings up another point. Walls don't stop bullets, guys. Most structures will not stop bullets. Car doors will not stop bullets. Earth, some trees, depending on the caliber and the tree, will stop bullets, but mainly you're going to need concrete or so much barrier debris type of stuff in between you and the bullet that it stops it. So like I said, earth is going to be a big one. Mobility matters. So we have the advantage of being able to, if needed, go through traffic lights with lights and sirens. We can go faster than the average person because we are given exceptions when it's an emergency. So we can go pretty quick. We are also given equipment to go quick. The lights and sirens and the cars themselves are equipped to be somewhat nimble, right? So we have agility on our side, mobility. And we're not all in one place at a headquarters. Because we could be just like fire, where we wait to be called somewhere. But that would not keep any sort of control to the wicked that is out there. I promise it's out there. So that's a normal life society version of patrolling. Now, how would that apply to an SHTF mode? Because that was the direction the comment was oriented, was SHTF. If you're planning to defend your home, your homestead, your residence, your whatever, from the residents, I guarantee you will lose. Here's why. Not only do your walls not stop bullets, at least not forever, but you also have the issue that somebody can surround that place and essentially quarantine you in. Look up siege warfare for castles. Most of us don't have well access to our homes on the inside. You can be starved out. You can be dehydrated out. People on the outside don't have that same problem necessarily. Now maybe you've got a lot of resources inside. What about fire? How much effort does it take? How much knowledge does it take to take a glass of alcohol, a bottle of alcohol, light a rag on top of it and throw it against the building? Well, now your structure of safety that you refuse to leave is ablaze and you have no choice but to leave. The only problem is the people that are outside are waiting. What do? That's why you patrol. Patrolling can help you mitigate the lack of numbers, the lack of physical bodies, by putting them in motion to cover a larger area. So let's say that you have, a spot right here, home base, and you've only got 5 people total. And you send 2 of them out in a buddy pair, and you start patrolling a sphere of influence. Guys, it might only be your yard, but it's a sphere of influence to give you a little bit more of a warning. And then, like us on the street, if you encounter something that you need assistance, you need a way to communicate back. Radios would be preferable, but I always jump to the worst case scenario that radios won't work. And either you need an audible something, maybe it's just gunshots, maybe your buddies at home start hearing gunshots and they know that we grab our stuff, we go in the direction of the gunshots. Maybe that's your protocol. Or maybe you get whistles. They don't run on batteries. Get whistles, start blowing them things. It was used in World War I for signals. It's been used actually throughout all of history, a lot of history anyway. Different drums or whistling devices, musical instruments to give signals, right? Maybe you get some air horns, but they'll deplete over time. Point is, you will need some way to call for help while you're on that patrol. You also need to know what the point of the patrol is. The point of the patrol is not necessarily to go and pick a fight. It's to actually be somewhat invisible. It's to go cautiously into an area of influence. I'm thinking homestead, right? So let's say you got a 1 mile radius that you own the land, something like that. Well, then you probably ought to go patrol that. At least occasionally, I would think, to make sure that nothing has happened since you had SHTF come to your life, right? Something happening could be somebody has set up a tent. Maybe they're a heroin addict and they're on withdrawals. Maybe you want to know that. Have you ever seen somebody on meth? It's fascinating. And it's really, really scary. It's bad that people would voluntarily take that mess because they lose their minds on it. Those people aren't going to just vanish necessarily, guys. So, patrolling is really, really important. The big takeaway here is it will help with the lack of numerical superiority. Now, with that, you need to know what you're trying to do. You need to make sure that you're not trying to pick a fight. You need to make sure you are lightweight and nimble, like we try to be on the street. We function as police officers kind of as light infantry, very light, I would argue. Light infantry. If you were to compare it, because I wear like 30 pounds of gear, I carry medical stuff, but I'm operating out of a vehicle that I have more equipment in. But otherwise, my main focus is I need to be able to chase people down if I need to. I need to be able to hop fences, and guys, I have hopped a lot of fences. Because stuff does happen. I need to be able to go through the woods without a whole lot of stuff dragging off of me. You see where I'm going? You need to be lightweight. You need to be nimble, agile, right? Fast. You need to be able to run. And then if you can't get help coming your way, you got to get back to help so that you can tell them what's coming your way and you can man the battle stations, right? We might get into some like defensive concepts and stuff at some point. But for now, I think y'all get the idea. Bullets don't stop at walls. You do not want to be confined to a flammable structure. You don't want to be confined to a structure at all, because you just won't outlast the 1 or 2 or 20 people that are going to surround that place. All right? That's why we patrol. Maybe we'll do some videos on that, on the concepts with that soon, as far as how it would apply to SHTF. If you're interested in that, let me know. Hope it helps, and I'll see you later.